Hello world, and welcome to the first episode of the Carmic Mechanic. We are going to change my wife's oil today, and we decided to video it because it's our vehicle, and nobody else will be standing over my shoulder, so I don't need to worry about a client and other factors, and we can just focus on you guys. But basically, nobody knows how to change their own oil anymore. We all just pay for other people to do it, but it is like the most basic thing maintenance-wise that you need to do for your own vehicle. It is so incredibly important. There's a reason they put those stickers on your windshield, and it's very important that we take care of the cars that take care of us. So, I've got a couple of things set out here that we're gonna need as we go. I also need to grab my oil pan. Towels, some disposable, some not. Funnel for the oil to go in. Screwdriver in case you need to stab your filter. It does happen. You're gonna need a wrench and a couple of flashlights. And then we're gonna do our fluids down here. I always keep my new separate from my old and my tools separate from what I'm installing. So we've got some basic Napa oil. Her car takes a 0 weight 20. It's important to look up what kind of oil your car takes. If you go into Napa, the guys there will just look up your car for you, and you don't even have to really think about it. Just make sure you buy the right one, and if you don't know where to look, the guys there will help you. We're going to add some de-icer, windshield washer fluid, and Royal Purple is the gold standard of oil. It is a racing synthetic, and it's just all around better for your engine. So we're going to add a little bit of that to supplement what we're putting in her car today, just for longevity of life. This is our nicest car. We want to take care of it. It's worth the extra 12 bucks. Okay, let's get started. Okay, I remember this being a thing the last time we did the oil on her car, so it's not going to make it up onto the ramps. Basically, if I pull it up on the ramps, it's going to hit the bumper. It's because it's so low profile. So we're just going to lift it up manually. Oh. Here's how we do that. Most vehicles have a pinch weld right here where the jack is, running down the side ribbon of the car. And you want to sit on that pinch weld. For the most part, all the other vehicles today that are made are just made out of plastic. You're just going to destroy your vehicle if you put the jack in the wrong spot. Remember, every ounce of weight for this entire 3/4 of the vehicle is sitting on that one spot right now. So it's really important that you grab the right spot. We're gonna be a little low for that guy.
And can you explain to the people that are like me that don't know, wouldn't have even known how to do what you just did there?
Yeah, so, I mean...
You literally just turn the little lever to the left, right?
Yeah, so to use a racing jack, it's all ran out of hydraulics. Down here.
I need to back up so I can see.
Down, you're gonna go left, lefty loosey, righty tighty. If you go right and you crank the handle, your jack's gonna go up. Left to take her back down, and then tighten her back up to go over to your other side.
Thank you, love, because if there are people in the audience like myself, I would have needed that step. Finding the pinch weld? Pinch weld.
Find the pinch weld.
And we're back.
Alright. Well, apparently we had some technical difficulty with the camera.
Yep.
But I guess that's to be expected, eh?
No professional cameraman here, clearly.
And it's all good.
Maybe one day.
We didn't make it very far.
No.
All I'm doing is getting the car up onto the jack stands. Once again, with the importance of where you put the jack underneath your car. Most of the bottom is plastic. You can get onto, like on a larger truck like this, you can get onto the axle. But with smaller cars these days, there's just nothing to grab onto. It's all plastic under there. So best practice is just to grab that pinch weld. Now it's important while you're taking the third tire up off the ground and the fourth tire that we're paying attention to the feet on your jacks on both sides, the jack stands that are taking care of the back. What you'll notice is that as I take this tire up, we lose the jack stand in the back. That might be a problem for tire's gonna sit in there. You gotta get a little bit creative. When you don't have a lift, just remember to be smarter than the car, and you'll be just fine. What you don't want is the car accidentally falling on you. So it's important to take your time with this step.
And maybe wear knee pads.
Yeah, well, can't win them all. If you're gonna do stuff like this, your knees are probably gonna hurt. That's the way it is.
By the way, it is freezing out here.
It is not that
We have
cold.
snow on the ground.
It is not that cold.
And he's in a light flannel. I can't feel my hands.
You're doing great, man.
You're doing great.
Once again.
Oh.
Find the pinch weld. Check your jack stand. Make sure as the angle of the vehicle shifts, everything is moving along with you. It doesn't seem like a long ways to fall, but if this vehicle, if you lose it and it hits the ground, it's going to do some damage. Alright, nice and gentle we go. Easy peasy. lemon squeezy.
Well done.
Make sure you're using stands like I am. I like the ramps personally, but if you're using ramps, just want to make sure that the tire takes a full seat. This one looks as if we're a little off kilter. As you can see, the tire still rotates.
Yeah.
But essentially, you're not going to be doing anything from underneath the vehicle that's worse than this. So if you can sit there and jerk around on it and all four are still down, you should be all right. We're just going to pin this. It has to do with the angle of the driveway because it comes in. We're just doing the best we can. Once again, you just want to kind of give it a jiggle. And as long as it stays put, it should be good to go.
I have a question.
Yes?
If this piece came down slightly, would that also come down?
Probably. Question is am I all that worried about it?
Okay.
I guess for the sake of safety and demonstration, we'll do
Because
that.
this would show everybody how to fix that problem.
Sure.
Is because if it were me going under there, I wouldn't. This is the scariest part for me.
She's got a little bit of claustrophobia. I don't necessarily. I've done this so many times that I don't tend to think too much about it. But I get it. If maybe you're a little more concerned, that totally makes sense. Right.
Nice. Good seat.
That was a good call, though.
Yeah, that was nicely done.
Just as a added layer of caution, because the back are on ramps technically, we're gonna go ahead and set the emergency brake. All right. Emergency brake is set. Go ahead and lift our hood. Can we bring the camera over here, please, love? This is where your oil goes in at. Usually it has a little oil can picture and what kind of oil you want to put in on the cap. If yours is worn away, it's usually around your dipstick, typically. So, but almost always on top of the motor. Easy to find if you're looking. Okay. If memory serves, hers is a 17, I think. We're going to do a couple of preventative things. It almost never fails that I spill something. So, extra towel that I don't care about is going to go underneath there. And probably put that next to the pan so that when we get the drip, it just goes on the towel instead of our nice brand new driveway. Let's see what else. And suppose.
You look like a stud.
Oh,
You're doing great.
Window washer fluid, we'll deal with that in a minute. Funnel up there. Flashlight so you can see what you're doing. New oil.
I hope I'm not making the viewers nauseous with my camera work.
Sorry about that in advance. The only thing that you really have to take under with you, as well as tools, is your oil filter. This needs to go in from underneath for the most part. That's what the screwdriver's for. On your old filter, a lot of people have a wrench, but in these smaller cars, they're so tightly placed that you can't really get the oil filter wrench around the oil filter to pull it out. And sometimes you can't even get your hand up in there. But what you can do is you can take a screwdriver that's small tipped like this, shove it up against the filter underneath the car, and it's attached to the vehicle. Take a hammer and hit it through, and then you just turn it sideways once it goes through. That's an easy way to get it off. Lefty loosey, righty tighty, just like everything else. Flashlight, got the filter, you're going to be underneath the car. You want to go ahead and stay organized. Otherwise you're going to be under there for a while. So hopefully we're not going to be. We can get it done. Okay, that's right. All the way up.
Yes. Are you coming from the front or the top?
You can hand it to me from the front. That'd be just fine. All right. So, you can see Jackie's feet right there at the front of the vehicle. Right there is your old oil filter, and that is your oil plug. Now, if I zoom out a little bit here, you can see that typically there's a cover plate that lives right here, and we're going to put that back on because I took it off the last oil filter change, and it should definitely be on there. But like I was saying, you can see a lot of the stuff is just plastic down here, not a lot to get a jack stand onto. So it is important that you hit those pinch welds like we were talking about. I'm going to hand the camera back to Jackie so that I can do all these things. And we're gonna go ahead and get this thing changed. So just go ahead. Okay, are we on our third video now?
Yeah.
Are we playing?
Yep.
All right, so sorry about the technical difficulties. We'll have to figure that out later. Here comes the oil filter. You're gonna get some oil on you. It's important to have the pan underneath. And when you get your oil filter out, just drop it straight into the pan. No harm, no foul. It's not, in a car like this, it's not going to have very much in it. Maybe like a third of a quart. And as long as the vehicle hasn't been running in the last hour or so, maybe more like a half hour in weather like what we've got now because it's so cool out, you're not going to be dealing with hardly any engine heat at all.
Sweetheart, I've got to go take care of the baby, but the camera's rolling.
All right. Thank you, love. Best mom in the world, that one. All right. Now, we're going to pull the oil plug. All right. Oil plug is loose. We're going to line up. And it usually has a little bit of an arc to it because there's a lot of pressure up there. So you just want to scoot your pan out to where you think it's going to arc out to. And this is a bit of a guessing game most of the time. But looks like we got it. Make sure you don't drop your nut in there. You're going to need that once the oil is all drained. Once again, with the extra rag under the vehicle, that's important. And as your oil pressure lowers, and the dirty oil comes out, the arc is going to lessen, right? It's going to start going more straight down. So once you get that original push out, if you want to keep oil off of your driveway or wherever you're doing this at, you're just going to want to scoot your pan back just a hair because it's going to go more directly straight at the ground there. Hopefully you guys are still hanging in there with me. Like I said, not a terribly long process. Most oils are fully synthetic these days. You're going to get anywhere between 5,000 and 7,000 miles out of a full synthetic. And it's important that as you change your oil, when you pull it out, I'm going to take a look at this with you guys. What does it really look like in your oil? Are there a bunch of metal shards in your oil? That's going to be the sign of premature engine wear, especially if you're in the lower mileage. A lot of vehicles that they're producing these days are just kind of pieces of junk, and honestly, the parts aren't really made to last. It's really unfortunate what they're doing, but a part will come back on warranty, and they won't be able to get it in stock because so many people ordered it all at one time, and it just makes for kind of a process. Also, I forgot to mention your oil cap here. Now that I'm done down below, take your oil cap and let it loose. That is going to relieve the air pressure underneath, and it's going to allow oil to flow out of your system a little faster. All right. Well, looking like we're pretty darn close to finished. That was pretty quick. The capacity for this particular vehicle, this is a 2018 Mazda 6 Sport, and it has a oil capacity of 4.8 quarts. Yes, that sounds right. 4.8 quarts, which is not a ton. If you saw that big container of oil that I pulled out earlier, that's a 5-quart container, and if you've got a truck or anything sizable, you're going to be in that range. This car takes just under one of those full containers, and with the supplemental racing oil that I'm going to put in, we're going to be quite a bit less than that entire container. It's important to keep an eye on the volume of what you're putting back in as you put it back in, and to keep an eye on your dipstick. Honestly, it doesn't take as long, in my opinion anyway, to remove the oil as it does to make sure that you're filling to proper levels. Now, that being said, I watched this video, and I'm not going to be able to tell you whose video it was, but I watched this really interesting video the other day of a guy doing a test. We're just going to prime this ring just a hair, take a little bit of oil, rub it around your rubber there. Oil's going to fill the rest of the ring, or the rest of the filter there. New filter on, hand tight, nothing crazy, nothing fancy. Don't need any wrenches, don't really need anything. And as far as the tightness of your nut, you're just going tight, you're not going tight plus a quarter turn. That's going to be too much, and we don't want to over tighten because you'll strip the bolt. Alright, I'm going to set you down, and we're going to work on getting the oil filled up here. Let's see if I can get this worked out to where you can actually see what I'm doing. Maybe right in there, I suppose. We'll try that. All right, front row view, guys. So, like I was saying, if you go to Napa, they've got these really cool they've got these cool things that help you fill your oil. Real technical terms here today. Funnel. Why can't I ever remember what a funnel is called? Ridiculous. Anyway, it's a 3-part funnel. These things are awesome. Comes apart in 3 pieces. You got a super tiny funnel, medium funnel, and then for your big reaches, you got one of those guys. So we're going to use the middle ground today, get this system filled back up. I'm going to put in my racing oil first. That's going to leave us with 1 quart. If you want to speed it up, because you know that the capacity, you know it's going to take this entire thing, you cut a little hole in the back of it and give air a place to go, and that'll kind of speed up your process here. Okay.
Oh. Sorry. Hello. I didn't realize we were on camera.
Welcome back.
Technical difficulty. Little baby's awake. But it looks like you've got yourself set up.
Yeah, we're doing all right.
Okay. Good. Say good morning, Dada. Say Dada. Yeah. You changing the oil?
Mwah.
Dada.
Once again, trying to keep things clean. This is a relatively newer car. We are still rolling. You'll notice all the oil is gone out of there now. So we're gonna go ahead and get our larger container at this point. We only put a quart in there, so there's no real point in checking the dipstick yet. We know that our capacity is 4.8 quarts. On the back here of these large containers, you've got a quart reader. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 at the top. So if you watch this, you can see the oil through this view window here in the back of almost all oil containers these days. So we're going to use up 1, 2, 3. That gives us 4 total. So we're going to be somewhere in that region. And I guess if I had a pen, I could mark on that for you. Again, we already put 1 in. Maybe 2, 3, 4, 4.8. It's going to be somewhere in that region. I would say we're probably going to start checking just for simplicity and to make sure we are on the right track. By the time we get to about there, you never get 100% of your oil out. You only get close. Now, since it's cold and since I'm cameraing on my own, I went ahead and I didn't necessarily do a flush, but a lot of people like to pour a little bit of oil in while the system's still open, and I'll do that when I'm just on my own and not videoing. But it helps flush things out that shouldn't be in there. Sometimes there's some rust in your motor, or you know, a little bit of metal particulate or whatever on the walls. It'll just help push that down through, get it out of there. That way it's not rubbing on other things. And usually I do that. But if you decided you wanted to go ahead and do a flush, I know it sounds really complicated to say that you're flushing things, but it really is just leaving the bottom of the system open and sending 1/3 of a quart down through the system like I'm doing right now, but with the bottom open so that it flows straight out. Like I said, nothing too complicated. Just helps keep stuff out of your system. If you got an older vehicle or maybe something that hasn't been maintained very recently, that is definitely helpful. Okay, as that drains, we're just going to take a look at our progress. Here's my check line where I'm going to start taking a look, and we're still up here. And this thing will take about a quart at a time, so it goes pretty quick once you get going, but it does take a minute to move down through the system there. As you can see, I think you can see that. There's oil moving out of that funnel down into the system, and it takes a second to go down. It doesn't happen immediately. So take a look at our angle here, make sure you guys are still staring at stuff. All right, that's that. Fill her back up again. I guess while we're waiting on this, tell you guys a little bit about my recent car missions. So one of the things that we've been doing lately that's been really cool is helping out our community with vehicles that are under maintenance, you know, helping serve our underserved communities that might not be able to go into a shop, can't even afford the $125 that it costs to go into Jiffy Lube. I would not recommend Jiffy Lube for oil changes, by the way. It's much better just to learn to do it on your own. I do not trust them. Anyway, one of the things that we've been doing is just kind of doing what I'm doing with you guys right now, and that is doing small projects with folks whose cars are acting up a little bit, and they're just having a hard time finding anybody to work on them. One of the issues that we have in our area, and I'm sure it's not just us, but a lot of places are experiencing mechanic fatigue, where mechanics are just so busy and their lots are so full all the time because nobody knows how to do any of this stuff, that they're going to charge you a ridiculous amount to do really simple shit that you can do on your own. All right, there's the dipstick. We're not even on her yet. If you look close, you can see two little lines, or two little dots, excuse me. Now, what we're gonna do is you can't necessarily see the oil that's on that stick, but what you see when you're in the right position and you wipe it down and you put it back in and you pull it back out again to check your level, when you're in the right position, both of those dots should fill, and you should maybe be able to see your oil line, but it really depends on what your lighting is and quite a few different factors. But seeing those little dots is definitely an easier way to check your level. So like I said, this part takes a little while, but it's worth the patience. You don't necessarily want to overfill your system. Oh, I was saying earlier that there was this dude's video that I was watching, and he quadruple filled a motor with oil just to see if it would run. And I was awfully impressed. I too was one of those people that was really concerned about overfilling my oil, and mechanics will harp on it as if your car is going to blow up. But I watched this German guy fill a motor in a shop to 4 times its level, and it still ran. Now, did it run healthy? No, you shouldn't do that. But he was also a gallon or two over the oil capacity. If you go a half a quart over, you're not going to destroy your motor. Do I recommend not following directions? No, but if you make a mistake just because you're new or whatever, not a big deal. You can also go down below and empty a little bit out. That's not that big of a deal either. You take the plug out, you let a little bit drain out, you put the plug back in. Couldn't be any simpler. Now, we're about at our marker here, and all of our oil is drained out of our funnel. So I'm going to pull that dipstick, clean it off, send her back down in there, and we are officially on our dipstick. Now, I don't know if you can see that hole, but the first hole is filled. So we are on our dipstick officially, but we still need to come up just a hair. And if you look at where I'm at, try to get this level here, we're probably about 1/3 of a quart, which is about right. So we're just going to do a quick splash, about 1/3 of a quart. That'll bring us about perfect down to our line. I'm going to say that I'm probably done with that. And we're just going to do another quick check once all this oil runs out of the funnel here. Okay, nice and clean dipstick. Pop that sucker back in there. Make sure it clicks, because that's extra height on your dipstick. And we are just shy of full, so I know that I'm close enough that I can just take one more little splash, and that ought to be good. It is possible that we're slightly over full, but ain't nothing perfect in this world, is what I usually say. And we're not going to start by perfecting oil changes today. As long as it's sealed up at the end of the day and you got new oil in your car and you're doing the maintenance and you're learning something, you've done a good job. One more check here. I think this is the one where we're going to get it. Take your oil out, dipstick out, pop her back in, make sure she clicks, and we got her. Don't know if you can tell, we got both dots right there. They're full of oil. That's how you see it. Not every single dipstick is created equal. And pull this out here. Go to put it away. Because we did it ourselves, we got extra oil for the next change. And you learn something along the way, which is awesome. This, spin you around here real quick, sorry guys. this right here, windshield washer fluid. Look at that. You can see the windshield washer symbol there on the top. We are not going to use the same funnel that we just used for our oil because it's got oil in it. You do not want oil in your window washer fluid. So, because this stuff is basically water with some additives, I'm not exactly super worried. Ah, goodness sakes. Helps to have a cameraman, so sorry. I'm not super worried about getting this any place it shouldn't be, but the best way to do this is to go nice and slow and to aim. Hey, look at that. We hit our marker, first shot. Nice and steady does it. It will fill up on you pretty quickly. These are not super large systems. Now, I've heard some chatter about what kind to use. Some cars don't like the bug wash. I haven't heard anything negative about the de-icer, so that's now in. Car is now done. I'm gonna hand the camera back to my trusty camera woman. Thanks for being here, love. We're gonna double check that we have everything put away. We got all of our caps back on. So the motor is good to close down. Shut that. Now it's time to take things off the rack. I'm gonna squeeze under there really quickly. I'm gonna grab all the stuff that's under there and try not to spill the oil pan.
Yeah. The end of the car. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? You say hi. You say hi. I'm helping Dada. Yeah, I know.
Daddy's right here, Bubba.
You say hi.
One more thing before we call it a day.
Ooh, the cover. Good memory, babe.
I remember.
Oh, I guess maybe I won't show our whole garage. Yeah, but maybe we'll show the baby. What do you think? What do you think? Can we say hi? I think it's up top. Up there somewhere.
Here?
Yeah, up there somewhere if I remember correctly.
Nope. It's right here.
There it is. Woohoo!
Alright,
I was way off. Yeah. Alright, let's just video the beautiful cars. Oh, we're waving. We're waving to everybody. We're just waving. You say hi. I need to get a hat on you, baby. Yes.
Well. Just have to deal with that a little bit later. This is the engine oil cover for your filter so that nothing hits the bottom of your engine, and we're going to go ahead and replace this now. Now, I remember when we took it apart that there were, I think, 3 screws, but there are 2 clips up front. We're going to put the screw into the back, and I'll find a couple other screws later. No harm, no foul. Oh, goodness. All right, here we go.
I'm gonna have to set this here somewhere.
Bailing on me?
He's going under. He's going under. He's going under. Yeah. I'm just getting him a coat, sweetheart.
Okay. camera woman has run away. We're gonna take these things off of the jack, and we're gonna call it a day because this has just been nice and easy. And down is always easier than up. It's very dangerous when you're going up, but when you're coming back down, everything is pretty well established. It's already up as high as it's gonna go, and oh boy, howdy. Back here.
What's Dada doing? Kishi, wanna say hi? Wanna say hi? Oh my goodness. There's baby. Yeah. Okay. Hold on, sweetheart.
Alright guys, sorry about the interruption. Definitely not something that is easy to do when you're videoing. But sometimes with your jack, especially with the lower vehicles, you got to get it up there a ways. Just put a block of wood underneath your jack. Make sure it's stable. Easy to get that out. And I just want to say thank you for showing up today. And I hope this helped at least somebody out there. And fact is at the end of the day, you can do it on your own. And it is quite possible. You know, last thing to do is just to fire things up. Make sure everything runs okay. And if you got this far and you're doing it on your own, just know that you can do it. And once you get done, good job. You are that much more self-sufficient than you were yesterday. So congratulations on that. Car is started. We're probably about 40 minutes deep with all the explanation and everything else. You just want to come down below, check and make sure you don't have a river of oil coming out from down there. Otherwise you forgot to put a plug in, something's not right. Open things back up under the hood. Take a look at that beaut. And just like that, new oil, new windshield wash. You guys are awesome. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time on the podcast.